Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Sakanavavadu, Sakanapunaktu, Sakaviryam Karavavake, Tejaspinamati Damastamavati Shavake. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham, Malam Saridasya Cha Vaityakena, Yopa Karotam Pravaram Munina, Patanjalim, Pranjalim, Anadosni. Good morning. So, Patanjali is now teaching us the final part of the essence of chapter 1 and the chapter 2. He's going to move into the Ashtanga Yoga after drawing a line, summarizing the purpose of this sadhana and the method in which you should do it. And to help that, he is setting up a vyuga, Chaturvyuga we call it, as Vyasa calls it, about 4 important parameters. If you recall that, heyam, hey means that we should dispose of. Obviously, the dukkham, the samsara, the whole collection. So what is heyam? Heya hetuhu. What is the cause of that heyam or samsara? Then hana. Hana means, generally means abandonment, giving it away of this whole stuff, or the moksha. That is what is the positive benefit that we get from this is a moksha. Then moksha upayam, hana upayam. So there are 4 things. So he started talking about the first part, heyam. So we saw that, I think the important sutra that we should remember, drishtru, drishyo, samyogo, heya hetu. He said heyam is dukkham. Then he said the dukkha hetu, heya hetu is drishtru, drishyo, samyogaha. See, we now passed all those common sense questions. No? Grief comes from so many things. We all saw that in the Tattva-bodha. But here we are talking about at a very high level, taking all this sukha dukkha, Remember, sukham also, dukkham parading as sukham. So, he said, the cause of this is the samyogam. Samyoga means mixing of, very well mixed of, conjoinment of, collusion of, what? Drishtru, drishyo. What is seen, the apprehensibles, perceptibles, seen with a perceiver. We went elaborately and understood here what this drishtu means. It boils down to the core called drish shaktihi. Even a little bit deeper in the last session also to support that. So Patanjali therefore took upon himself in the following sutra to explain these technical words. Drishtru, drishyam, samyoga. So after this, he said that drishyam is very important one. On 18th, he said, prakasak is kriya silam, and blah, blah, blah. And he said important words, bhoga apara vairagyartam drishyam. The question is, if this confusion happens between this and that, and the confusion is wrong, and therefore we should remove it, then we ask the question, why at all this confusion happen? Why it exists? Why there is a drishyam? Because drishyam exists, the confusion happens. What's the purpose of drishyam? Remember, Patanjali is not giving you a cure. Headache, go, track number 2, draw number 3, open this thing, you get a paracetamol, eat it. He's not giving you that. He's not giving you a cure. He's not giving you a way to find a solution, but he's going to give a way to dissolve the problem. Before giving you sadhana, he's going to define the problems again and again and again to make it thinner and easier to solve. That's the reason why we are laboring this point. So therefore, the drishyam exists only for the drishtruhu, which we saw the last sutra, 21, we saw Padartha eva drishyasya atma. Drishyasya atma means the content of drishyam, the purpose of drishyam is tad artha eva. Tad means here drishtruhu. So therefore, everything exists only to be experienced by the drishtruhu. So there is an answer given. So don't complain why there are good things exist, bad things exist. Nobody complains about good things exist. Everybody complains about bad things exist. A thing is bad if it is not available to you as good, then it's bad. So we always complain. That happened, this happened. Why this is happening? Because somebody is experiencing it. Somebody is enjoying it. So we don't blame something which is not conducive for your liking, but exists in the world. It exists because there is an experiencer who is wanting this. There is no, because the whole, see, you must look at it. This is not good and bad. There is nothing good and bad in life. Everything is to experience it. So therefore God says, okay, this is what you want, you get it. So therefore we know that in the last sutra, drishyam is for drishtru, the seer's purpose only. Then the question will come. Okay, if that is the case, if I don't need it, you see, an example will make it easier. See, if you have you just finish your gardening and you take a handful of grass and put in a plate and keep it on a table, it makes no difference to me. But if I bring my cow, you look at it and say, 5-course meal, it'll eat it. There, for the cow, is a bhokta. This becomes, the eating is a bhogam. So it becomes something relevant. Samyogam happens. Samyogam happens only when there is a bhokta and a bhoktru. Otherwise, there's no samyogam at all. So there is purpose. So we ask the question, here we are talking about not the grass or not this world of objects, because we passed all those things. Now we take, whenever we say drishyam, we can say the world which we need for bhogam, we keep it there. But the problem is not with confusion with the world, because I know that I am different from the world. Therefore, there is no samyogam in that sense. The problem is that I do not see it as a drishyam, but actually a drishyam is my buddhi. We've gone through this before, right? So buddhi is this inert matter, which is very close to me, because when I experience the joy is not experienced outside, it's experienced in me, because something happens in what I see. No, I see this computer now, but actually I see my glasses I'm wearing. I ignore it because that is I'm seeing. But if we keep on going, there is a glass that I have where everything is reflecting on is my buddhi. So whatever comes into the buddhi is what is consumed by the seer, the drishakti. What is a drishtantam for it? What is a rational for it? Sleep, sushupti. In Vedanta, we always go back to sleep, deep sleep. Not in the class, but an example I'm saying. So the deep sleep, what happens is that buddhi has nothing to reflect on. Nothing to see. Nothing to experience. Therefore, the drishyam for the drishakti is the buddhi. So here, whenever you talk about samyogam, At a macrocosmic level, you can talk about the Purusha and Prakriti. Let's worry about ourselves right now. From my point of view, it is my Drish Shakti and my Buddhi. I shouldn't say my Drish Shakti because I am a Drish Shakti. I do not know it yet. But Drish Shakti and the Buddhi is Samyoga. Now, if I have understood this, I don't need to have, take an example. What happened? So there is nothing I need. So all the Drishyam goes away. My Buddhi gets completely gone. That means I become a zombie. Or if I take this world, does the world disappear? Like, this is the very important point, because in many, we loosely say, the world, for the Jnani, the world doesn't exist. Bhagavan says in Gita, the world doesn't exist. What happens to him? When he doesn't see the house, how can it be? And therefore, some people start saying, oh, this is illusion, so this is wrong, that is wrong. That's not what it is said. It says, for him, he doesn't care. It is out of his focus. He doesn't need to worry about that. It's gone. So whenever you see Lokanasham, Manonasham, so there is no need to argue whether the world is real or unreal. Immaterial. All these are just words. Is it relevant to me or not anymore? What do you mean it's not relevant to me? So that's because I got this jnanam, tomorrow I don't eat, I don't do anything. You're going to see what it means. Here it means that existence of that is clearly not me. I know there is no samyoga of that. Therefore, my happiness, my liberation, my freedom is untouched by anything else. So here he says, in this custom, kritartham pradinashtam api anashtam tadanya sadharanatvat. So here what he's saying is kritartham. Kritartha means one who has done what needs to be done in this world. Can you ever find anybody, there could be many Mahatmas like this, to say, look, I have done everything in my life. I am done. We'll never say that. We always say, even if you retire, I don't like the word retire, but even if you retire, what do? You start doing something. Okay, I'm doing consulting. I'm doing that. I'm doing this. I have to do this. I have to write the book. I need to learn Vedantam. I need to do. So you have to do something all the time. You want to become somebody. You want to achieve somebody. You get something. So we never say, I am a Kritartha. I've done everything. But you could. You would. You will. You will. But when you do that, what happened? For you, the world, Prati means towards you, the world is nashtam. The world is destroyed. It means it doesn't matter to you. Where it is, what it is, doesn't matter to you. Now, some people argued on this because if it is for Purusha, and if you take the Vedantic view, that especially Advaitic Vedantic view, if Purusha is the Atma, and if I understand that Purusha get liberated, that Purusha is everything else, that means everybody get liberated. There's a doshan there. That is not what is said, because we already talked about it. If you take that approach, Atma doesn't need any liberation. It is the Jiva Bhavam, the Samyoga Sankalpam, the result of the Samyogam, where you have this Bhavam that I am the enjoyer. That entity has to get liberated. So therefore, if I get liberated, doesn't mean that you get liberated. Because you still have a Jiva Bhavam. Therefore, for those, Api Anashtam, therefore the world is not destroyed, the world is not gone. Why? Tat Anya. for those others, for those other jivas, those who are in this world to experience it, who have taken the embodiment of it, sadharanatvat, because of being common. Why it's sadharanatvat? Because the embodiment is for enjoyment. So you come to this world for enjoying it. Therefore, if you think that enjoyment is eternal, then the world will be eternal for you. So this is very, very, very important. I am not dwelling more deeper onto this, but it's very important to understand. Therefore, when we go back to Vedanta and we have some very paradoxical statement about nasti, nasti, the world is gone, it doesn't mean it just go for effort, it's just gone there. No, it doesn't matter to you. If you understand when you go to physics, this is what happens when you go to cosmology and go up to spaces and things come and things go. It's irrelevant. But if you look for it, it exists in some form. But if you don't look for it, it doesn't matter to you. It's not there. So therefore, okay, all this philosophy is fine, but what is the benefit for me? The benefit for me is when you do all this Atmajnana Vicharam and Yogashanam and all these things you do, good things you do, the good side is coming up in you. But there is also, because the Asmita is not gone, you think, oh, what happened to, if I am gone, what happened to my children, my family, my thing, to the world, When we have this artificial weight on our shoulders, the whole world is on my shoulders. If I'm not there, nothing will happen. Absolutely nothing. I'm not indispensable to this world. You are not indispensable to this world. Nobody is indispensable to this world. You come and you go. World will go very well. Children will go very well. We have been very good when our parents or grandparents are gone. In fact, we are better than them. So nothing we fix. So therefore there is no need of that kind of worry. So therefore we just have to simply take, for me, the world is immaterial. I can become udasina. This is important. Therefore the apprehensible drishyam, even though it is dissolved, for the one who attains fulfillment, it still exists because for others need to be there. Now there is a very interesting insight here. Therefore, if you still exist, and if I am embodied, therefore I still have to deal with this. Now, if I am a fulfilled soul, I live in this world. In this Shudra, I understood that the world is not important to me. It doesn't exist for me. But would I be a useless person? I could be a useless person for you because I don't do anything. But a lamp doesn't do anything. The sun doesn't do anything. But it is being there. Everybody gets light. So therefore, the Kritartha, whoever is there, by his very nature, he is serving. But then, even though there are Mahatmas who say, yeah, fine, I'm going to now. So if you go to some holy places, now I've seen in many places like, in Kashi and Rishikesh, if you go there, there are people come and wash your shoes. Don't underestimate them. Don't give them money. They're not begging for you. They just want to do seva. Mahatmas. So they will find something. So therefore, this important of this Shudra is world will continue to exist. So let me not go to the unnecessary scholastic argument about mithya, illusion, world non-existence, and it's totally useless. For me, it has become unimportant because it does not influence my happiness because I have no samyogam. Okay. If I don't have samyogam, if I resolve this, what is the benefit? Why am I doing this? Swa Swami Satyo Swarupa Upalabdhi Hetu Samyoga. It's another wonderful Shudra, which technically it can be deeper. But let's see. So here important is Swarupa Upalabdhi. Upalabdhi generally means, okay, don't go to this, I told you in Tattvabodha and Mimamsika, there is a pramanam called Upalabdhi. Forget that. Here, Upalapti generally means realizing, getting, observing closely. Swarupa Upalapti means Swarupam. Swa means self. Rupam means the nature. Swarupam Upalapti. That you self-realization. Understanding your true nature. For that, he says, he's defining basically the Samyogam, but also he defines by giving what you are trying, what is the purpose of it. Swa means possession. Swa, objects possessed. Remember that this is Drishyam. We saw that this is possessed because it is going to give you Bhogam. That's the main point. But I don't want Bhogam, I want Bodham, I want Jnanam. Well, to get that, you still have to use the possession that you have, because Jnanam is Apavargam. Apavargam means literally Apavar means to leave off. Here is Kaivalyam. In Nyaya Sastram, Apavargam is Moksha. So you can take it liberation. See, the same objects, possession that you have, the world, the object, the wife, children, samsaram, the problems, while it is experience in one hand, Bhoga, it is also the important stepping stone to get liberation. Then why the sannyasis are going away? Well, they're not rejecting the world. They're going away to create their own conditions of seeing the world, because they're unable to take the impediments thrown to them in this world. Well, if I can be at home and do, yes, nyasam means giving up. Sannyasam means completely giving up. What is giving up? Is it detachment? No. It's a beautiful word called non-attachment. We will see that in a minute. So therefore, you must have the objects. See, this is the purpose of divine purpose of God. If there is, like, the great writers, when they write, Shankara's, when he writes, Shankara Bhasham, or even Deshikacharya, Ramanujas, and all great Mahatmas, when they write, you cannot find a syllable, a letter, a word unnecessary. They got meaning. Same way, God, when he creates everything for us, everything got a purpose. Okay. Object. So Swami, he is the one who possesses it. We normally say Swami, In those days, wives used to call the husband Swami. In the UK, there was a law, there's for an interesting case. It was, how those days, patriarchal society, wife is a possession. They quoted the Sanskrit word Swami, used there. Anyway, side apart. Swami is one who wants the Swa. So anybody who wants something, he's a Swami of it. But here the important point is the third word, Saktyoho. It means Swa Sakti, Swami Sakti. The power of the Drishyam, apprehensible objects, the power of the perception. These two can find their own nature. You have to be very with me on this, because this is going to be a very subtle point. What is this? This is one of those Shudras of a few where Vedantis take, Patanjali on their side. What he's saying is that even Tantric as well, the possession and the possessor, the Drishyam and the Drik, but the Drish Shakti and Darshana Shakti and Drishyam Shakti, the power of that. Now, I will not go deeper into this, but simply take it as the apprehensible and the apprehender. They will know their own nature by what? By Samyoga. That is, if I just take you away into a bhakti aspect of it, we call Shiva Shakti or Adinarayana, Narayani, or whatever you want to call it. Shivam and Shakti. Shakti cannot be without Shivam. Shivam cannot be without Shakti. We don't generally say that. But that talks about existence, cannot be there. So existence, it's a hard question. I mean, science is now taking it up very much. If for all the questions, the most difficult question, hard question means that for which you just have no clue where to start, is about existence. Why something exists? Why go for something? Why I exist? You can immediately go and say why I came out in this body. There are physical reasons for that. So that question of why I exist is very difficult to find an answer outside you, because outside you, if you look for answers for it, the evidence will point to not your own nature, but your possessions, your body. Oh, this is you or Raja. I can see you. They don't see me, see my body. Think in a Vedantic parlance. So existence is very difficult to, even for myself, therefore they cannot see me. Can I see myself? I can't see. But do I exist? Yes, of course I do exist. The lights is off, no sound comes in. I'm not even breathing. Do I exist? Yes, I exist. How do I know it? Because I'm aware. Innately I'm aware. I exist. Therefore, the existence is naturally means awareness of being exist. If awareness is not there, existence is not there. If the existence is not there, awareness is not there. The Chat and the Sat and the Chit. So therefore, now this Purusha, the Drish Shakti, is full of awareness. This Prakriti is Jadam, that's what we assume, inert. Between these two, there's going to be some yoga. So the Chit finds Buddhi. Finds means in its illumination, Buddhi. Here Buddhi can be the world or Prakriti, but let's just stick with Buddhi because the closest Drishya. So the awareness lightens the Buddhi. That is Buddhi. The Buddhi, because light comes in the semblance, the Buddhi knows that I exist. Buddhi exists. The I thought comes in. Then it is doing mimicry. Then it is doing mischievous things because it forgot about that Chaitri. Just say, I exist. The I thought comes and then it goes around, find the world experiences, blah, 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 blah happens. See, here the Swarupam of each objects. Here we talk about the object that get animated and goes through, basically Buddhi. Does not happen if there is no samyoga. But I'm not interested in Buddhis knowing its Swarupam, because Buddhi is after all not me. It is my Swashakti. So even that thought, the true I get, because I go through this samyoga. This Buddhi-led experience of the world, that's not me. I am the pure Chaitanya. Now, here, this is a learning step, okay? So here, therefore, what's happening is the Drishakti becomes aware of itself because of the Samyogam. The Buddhi aware of itself as Samyogam. And therefore, Buddhi becomes very humble. Well, I've been thinking I am the thinker. Now I know I'm not a thinker. I'm just a reflecting consciousness place. Therefore, it is full of sattva. So all this asmita thought comes because of rajas. Now it becomes full of sattva. When it becomes full of sattva, it still exists as a buddhi, sattva buddhi, as a drishyam. But then you have an experience because it is still a bhogam, right? When you have the samyogam, it still exists. Chit is there, buddhi is there. Buddhi becomes very sattva buddhi. So the world is now doesn't exist for you. We saw in the previous sutra, it's gone. You want a meditation, dhyanam, or in a satsangam, or in a kind of a ecstasy where you are with this buddhi. That is called anubhuti. This is anubhuti. When the anubhuti happens, all your mind, the chetas, the mind, merges in this buddhi, tanmayam. If you are there in that position, if somebody have to give a description of what you are doing, you are in samprajnana samadhi. Remember, we studied about it in the last time. The samprajnana samadhi. Why it is samprajnana samadhi? Because the samyogam still exists. You are aware that your buddhi is completely fulfilled. Nothing distracts you. No world comes into a picture. You are enjoying the anubhuti of it. You know that you are enjoying the anubhuti of it. That's why it's called samprajnana samadhi. So this is how I think beautifully he says. Therefore, now you can see samyogam. You have to. Before we said samyogam is a samsara hetu. You must get it on the samyogam. But here it is needed. So that's why every experience in life should be a stepping stone for you. So this there is no mantram for it. I mean, people, when they give you mantrams and all that, is to make the mantram as a tool to make your mind to focus on this. Anything can be a mantram. Valmiki was blabbering Mara, Mara, Mara and become Rama. Then we say, okay, because the two letters there. Yeah, of course, the letters are divine. But the divinity comes from the effort you put in, the intensity of purpose that you put in, the sincerity you put in. That means you have egagram. That means you have attention. So that's why it comes to here. Okay. So therefore, the union of the object possessed and the possessor is the only purpose is that they can realize the true nature of themselves. Okay. Tasya hetu avidya. Okay. Now the question is, okay, I understand the reason why some yogas benefit important. Why this samyoga happens? Why I was thinking I am the buddhi? Why the buddhi thinks I am? Why the I thought comes in? Why is it? If it is not my fault, who is this my? I don't know. The I thought just came. Why is it? So he says, Tasya, for that samyoga, hetuhu, the cause is avidya. Presto. You know this answer all the time, right? Everything will come down to avidya. ignorance, nescience. There's again a little capsule with so much into this, so I will not take much time, but important point. So ignorance, we see the language is very, it's not all languages are rich. Sanskrit has got so many different ways to interpret this. So we just work with what we have. So we use the word ignorance. Ignorance means if somebody is stupid, we call him ignorant sometimes. It's not the right thing to do, but we do say. So we don't take those kind of, the moodum, stupid actions. They are also ignorance, but we are not worried about them. That can be all fixed. Every ignorant will have knowledge, will fix it. So we can move on to this one. But this is Moola Avidya. The cause of everything is ignorance. So cause of everything is ignorance means the cause of the union is ignorance. Some yoga is ignorance, samsara is ignorance. And we are not very happy to say, I'm ignorant. We think it's a kind of a status lowering statement. How can I am a PhD, I'm an MBA, and I'm not ignorant on those things. But think about it, ignorance is the mother of everything else. In ignorance, everything is born. Why do we live for tomorrow? Why do you live for it? Because we are ignorant. We do not know what tomorrow is. Companies invent things. Why they invent things? Ignorant. They do not know something else. What pushes you to do things is ignorance. So it is all encompassing. So we normally say in Vedanta, we say in many definitions, anadi. Anadi means, adi means as a beginning, and adi means there's no beginning. Simple examples will tell you, right? So, do you know this fact? I'm giving a fact. You say, oh, I don't know this. Then I ask you, since when you do not know it? You will not have an answer. Well, I do not know it because I have not got this knowledge. So therefore, you can always say when the knowledge comes, but you cannot say when the ignorance comes. It is there all the time. Because from ignorance we all came. Ignorant we are, and ignorant we will go if you don't really wake up. But ignorance will end. That's a good thing about it. Now you can have of course, now the science is even taking up the ignorance as a major topic, in theory of ignorance, a big topic now, but in Vedanta, ignorance has got a whole book about definition of ignorance, what it is. But it will only go by the jnana. So if there is something you do not know, you must know that to clear that one. Very clear. Shankara is absolutely blank. There are a lot of people define so many ways. Ignorance is that in which is close by the corresponding knowledge. And ignorance is real. I mean, real in the sense, it is not some conceptual thing. It's Bhavarup. It exists. Why? Well, we studied all these things in the Bodha. Everything that is mithya is ignorance. Comes and goes. It is the intangible dimension of the space and time domain. So the objective science has got the ignorance as one vector, Bhavarupa. And because of this is anirvachaniya. You cannot describe it. What is ignorance? You cannot define it. It's not absence of knowledge, because you have a knowledge, but you can still be ignorant about it, the truth about it, because it's a veil, it's Maya. How do you say it's Maya? Because it does two things. It hides things, hides the truth, and create something else. Avaranam and Vikshebam. Now, we have so much to discuss on this in some of the time, but here what it means is, look at the Samyogam. It is hiding the truth about the Purusha and Prakriti. Therefore, this avidya is something that we should remove, and that is the purpose of this. Now, with this, we have finished two vectors, two yugas. Heyam, heya, hetu. Heyam is samsaram, samyogam. Hetu is avidya nivritti. Now, what is hanam? That means what is, when you remove all this, abandon all this samyoga, samsara, what do you get? Moksham, right? He says, tat abhavat, samyoga abhavo, hanam, tat dreshaka kaivalyam. Again, a very simple one. Hanam. Hanam means that which abandons all those grief, hetu, heyam. Moksham is third, that which is drishra, drish shakti. That drish shakti we talked about, which is kaivalya, which is completely separated, liberated. That is the hanam. In his words, is moksham, is hanam. How am I going to get that? It's because of samyoga abhavo. Because of samyoga abhavam happens. Abhava means not existing anymore. What doesn't exist? Samyogam doesn't exist. Hey, samyogam always exists. No, for me, I have seen through it. I become the jnani, yogi. I can see it through. Yes, okay. How does it happen? That happen? Tat abhavat. What is tat here? The ignorance. You must take, when you read the sutras, when you do avyayam, you should take from the previous one. So we finished the avidya. Therefore, tat becomes avidya. Tat abhavat, because avidya is gone, samyoga will be gone. Samyoga is gone, you get the abandonment, the rejection of all those things, leaving you into that which is the sea force, the drish shakti, which is the kaivalya. So in other words, he says, when you do all these things, suddenly you'll find yourself in that state of bliss, absoluteness. Okay. How to do this? What is hanopaya? So viveka chadihi abhiplava hanopaya. So now he is giving you, okay, that is what it is. Now how to get that? The means to liberation. Hana upaya. Upaya means the means. The only thing is, because it is root causes avidya, it has to be vidya. So vidya is coming through the means of viveka. In Vedanta, we just say viveka. Patanjali adds another word, khyatihi. Khyatihi means viveka is a discriminatory intellect, knowledge. Khyatihi is to make that unblemished, steadfast, and clear. So you can say viveka khyati is discriminating truth from the untruth, nitya anitya vastu vivekam, then establishing on that. You can say jnana nishtha. Why he is saying this very specifically? Because you will have issues that coming along in your life to shake your faith on it. You'll say, no, you don't do this, this is wrong, it is wrong, all that. So that contradiction comes because of plavam. Plavam means, it's a technical word, means viparita jnana vasana, samskara vasana, something that shakes your thing. So aviplava means that is not shaking, that is not challenged by any contradiction. Steadfast. Drida buddhi. You remember when you do Tattva Bodha, we come to the conclusion and said, to take further on this Vedantic Jnanam, we must need Chitta Shuddhi and Drida Buddhi. Chitta Shuddhi is all this vritti nirodham. Drada buddhi happens because now it says aviplava, viveka khyadihi. So by attaining that knowledge, you get the abrogation, the freedom, the moksha. But this is not a moksha where you will be, closing your eyes and sitting there. Therefore, I am in a samadhi, I am liberated. But when I get up, I become the same old sad fellow shouting at everybody else. No. See, I told you the word about Vyuttana, what Patanjali uses. Vyuttana means not in the meditative state, in the Vivakarika state, in a transactional state. Samskara is what is happening from the transactional state, something happens inside you. In both cases, you'll be extremely fine. You don't need to really be that peaceful just because you are in the dhyanam only. You can be, you can be jogging, playing squash and having dinner with your friends. You will be still happy because you are unshaken now by this. See, the avidya, therefore, causes adarshana. Adarshana means the non-perception of the swarupa. Non-perception of swarupa means I don't realize who myself. And why it happens? Because the klesha vritti. But when I have viveka khyadi, avidya goes and I get darshana. Darshana of what? Swarupam. So therefore this is the most beautiful way to come to the conclusion that why vivekam, jnanam is needed for a yogam to succeed towards liberation. Now I want to go to the last slogam. Before that, I wanted to tell you something very important. The last is, 27th is about what happens to this yogi. I think in Bhagavan Ramana, somebody asked a question. I think sometimes we go with the rhetoric questions, right? Can you just summarize it and give me the whole essence in one word and things like that? And so wrong to ask like this, but anyway, it's good it was asked, and he basically said, attention. Everything that starts is attention. And because when a Mahan saying like this, it becomes Upanishad. So the attention is what. See, what we did so far, a new definition of yoga comes to our mind. Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. That's Patanjali's word. But Patanjali gave us another definition indirectly. Yogam is the viyogam of samyoga. What does viyogam means? Viyogam means separation. Samyoga means mixture. Therefore, the definition of yogam is separation of the mixture. Only to separate the mixture, you do the egakram and everything. Now, attention is, therefore, is the Mahamantram, because the attention can be for everything. Mahamantram should be not just for moksha, everything, even this world to live. You have to be attend to things. For example, when you're listening to me right now, you must attend to what I say. Everything else is secondary. So attention is an ability to bring egakram. See, when the many things come to mind is like a ever-hungry monster, right? And it eats, whatever comes, it eats. Every time it eats, it just grows. So more you feed into the mind, more it grows. Therefore, you only have to feed what is needed. That means you have to pay attention to it. Now, when you do attention, what happens? Attention means implicitly non-attachment to things that are not needed to be attached. Vedanta, we say detachment, I mean, that word is used in English, but I think it actually means non-attachment. You get worried, detachment. No, if you go to Vedanta class and this guy is teaching me detachment, and how can I love my wife and children when they come home? No, it is non-attachment. But non-attachment is not hate, it is love. When you're non-attached, you are love, you are truly loving. What happened? That's the reason why, when you marry somebody, it's a beautiful person, and whatever reason her beauty is gone and your passion is gone, you divorce. You did not love her. You love her body. You attach to the body. So non-attachment is true love, but it means it is untouched by anything else to define your happiness. It means I will go out in the world and deal with this. I'm not detached to that. I am non-attached. I deal with it. A judge is non-attached to the case. You can't say I'm non-attached to criminality. I won't come. No, that's his very job. But he's non-attached. So non-attachment is what is needed. Attention gives you non-attachment. Psychology follows this. If you take the medical science, emotional problems, and they, after many things, they come with these 3-4 buzzwords. First, they call it emotional regulation needed for a patient. If you are stressful, you have problems, you go to the doctors, they give you medicine. Medicine is just secondary. But they all come to the conclusion, the mind has to be tuned, the emotional regulation is needed. What is this? Chitta vritti nirvana. And then you must be mindfulness. They took this word, use it a lot of courses now, mindfulness now, quoting Buddha and Patanjali. Mindful means your mind is full of that which you need attention, nothing else. When I eat my food, you have a phone there, and you have a paper there, and you eat the food. Insult to the mother who made the food. Insult to the food you're eating. You're not enjoying it. There's no mindfulness on it. Mind is full of thoughts, so many thoughts. You cannot be a yogi. You have to be on that which you do. Like the Japanese, when they do the cutting the vegetables, nothing else goes in the mind. Yoga, everything is yoga. Attention. Of course, Bhagavan talks about attention not on cutting vegetables. That's also important, but it is attention about the samyoga, that I am not that. The I thought, how did I get samyoga? I am not that. So in everything, every engagement, every activity you do, you attend to the activity with a non-attachment. I am not doing this. Psychology call it decentering. They call it reperceiving, decentering. All buzzwords, non-attachment. And then they give you some tools called metamechanics. What is metamechanics? The behavioral therapy. When tragedy comes in, how you address it. Again, yoga, chitta vritti nirvana. So if we live the life of a yogic practice, all these problems do not come. So therefore, don't ever think this learning is for some esoteric benefits in the future. There are a lot of youngsters learning also in our team. So it is to strengthen our life, our behavior, our approach in life. Okay. Last one, he says, Tasya saptadha pranta bhumihi prajna. So he's saying, when you do all this, when you get liberated from this samyoga, samsara, for you, for that one, saptada, there are 7-fold pranta bhumihi. Pranta means most superior, ultra superior. Bhumihi means ground, footing. That means the person will stand in a bhumi, in a step, or in a place, in a position of power, which is of 7-fold wisdom. So Patanjali actually draws here. I'm going to take maybe 10 minutes extra to draw this. So Patanjali actually draws the line here. So he has actually finished. I mean, in one sense, for us, this is done. But then he takes a very important thing about Ashtanga Yoga, 7 limbs yoga, which should do it. So we will see that maybe in the next class. But here he does not talk about the Sapta Bhumi, Pranta Bhumi. It's useful to know, and the Bhashyakaras say what they are, and we see. So this will see that the yogi who attained those wisdom in his or in her behavior, you can see the evidence of these 7 states. What are they? The first one, we just ignore all those our natural lowliness about worried about things and normal affairs. We ignore all this. So we have become reasonably seasoned. Now we are talking about the absolute samyoga nivritti. But even then, the one that will bother us more and more and more is to learn more. Jignasa. Jignasa means I want to know more. It's a good thing, but it is not a good thing after some time because it's like an itch. If you keep on itching or doing that, you hurt yourself. It has to stop sometime. It will not stop sometime if you do not know that you know what you need to know. That means you are incomplete. You are not fulfilled. What's the point of that? You will not get fulfilled when in the objective science, because the objective science cannot fulfill you because it's mithyatva. Therefore, the science will never end. But Satyam, study of Satyam will end. So it's called Veda Antam. It's not just the end chapter of Veda book. No, it's not. It's not like that. Vedanta means, Veda means also, Vid means to know. Vedanta means, Veda means the knowledge, wisdom, intellect. Ends. Stop. There is no, your intellectual power, capacity stopped. Nothing to know. That can happen as a first step. Why it happens? Because we know the Heyam, Drishyam is Heyam. Therefore, I don't need to worry about it anymore. So I do not know about this particular formula, particular language. Doesn't matter. Bhajagovindam, remember that? The old man is, after all this dying age, learning the Sanskrit Vyakaranam. Bhajagovindam. Shankara says, why are you studying this now? It's not against studying. It is because your pursuit is, if it is towards this, you will come to the stage. If you're not able to recognize your goal is wrong, or you haven't equipped yourself with the tools to pursue. So this will happen. Then jihasa nivritti. Jihasam means to give up something. I don't like it. So, I don't drink coffee. So I don't watch this movie. I don't like this person. Everything that you say that you have an aversion towards, that will come to an end. In other words, you accept everything. Acceptance is the greatest virtue. Why that happens? Because you remove the heyam, now you also remove the heya hetu. What is heya hetu? Avidya. Samyoga. Therefore, there is nothing bad in this world, nothing good in this world. It's all in how I take it. And I know that nobody can make me happy except myself. But I don't need to try because I am Ananta Swarupam. Therefore, nothing can affect me. Now imagine if you are in that kind of a power of mind, what you cannot achieve. We don't need, when you go to work, you don't have to worry about, would my boss give me a promotion or not? What is this promotion? come and goes. I'm not saying you should not aim for promotion. You should aim for promotion, but it should not be your driving force. It should be an outcome of the action that is come to you as an obligation by an employer. But if you work for a promotion, you will not get promotion. You do your job well. To do the job well, you have to really see that I am the boss in my own way, because it doesn't affect me. It's a play for me. Jahasa nivritti. Prepsa nivritti. Prepsa means to attain. So one is to give up, one is to attain. I want to attain this, attain this. You don't need to attain anything, because everything else that is out there is drishyam, is only for bhogam. I am in apavargam, so I don't need it anymore. Because I am fulfilled. I'm eternal. Nothing I need. So this is again build character in us. This is also there. Oh, you have to do something, right? Like, there's a Telugu proverb there. Something like that. The dog has no job to do and but no time to do. Like it keeps around, running around. We are also like this. If you don't have something to do, you get stressed up. How strange. So that is also a pressure. That's also bringing. See, Maya will just try to pull you down. Somebody will say, why this person is sitting there, not doing any work? You're not sitting alone. You are doing dhyanam. You are soaking, you are enjoying your bliss. But if you are a botheration to society, you must do something about it. But if you are on your own, if somebody just makes a comment, you get up, go. No. So that is gone. So you do this for this called karma kyani. So you have to put an effort. You achieve this nivritti. As a result, what happened? Shoka nivritti. Because if it all happens, nothing really makes you sad. Nothing. Ramana has got this sarcoma in his hand and operation has been done. Everybody says, we must do operation. And now, when you are sitting there for many years as a boy meditating, his hip has been completely eroded. The bones are broken, so he was not able to walk well. But he just walks around, and he holds on to this window and stands there because he cannot sleep, because he suppressed the sleep. But the body is objective. It is fading, and everybody said you must have an operation. The doctor comes there and he does do namaskaram to him, and any anesthesia? No, nothing. So he was cutting it, and the doctor says, "Look, I was doing all this thing, and he was looking at me with so much of love and affection, and smiling at my play, as if I am playing with his instrument in his body, without any iota of pain, nothing, because it's not a pain to him anymore. Shock and everything." Shokam happens. The shokam means also it's a shugadukam, ragam, dislikes. Bhaya nivritti. You don't have any more fear. Why fear? You fear only if you find there's something else other than you. I don't see anything other than me. It's all me. It exists in a different form. The form is just mithya. My connection to the form is gone. I'm an observer. I'm a sakshi. What bhayam is there? Oh, you will die tomorrow. I don't die. I'm eternal. The body will die. Well, your children may run away with you. You have nobody to take care of you. Nobody takes care of me. No. I exist on my own. The body may decay. Body may drop anywhere. Doesn't matter. So that kind of a power of resolution, abhayam, happens. Then the last one, it's called vikalpanavritti. Now, when all this happens, Still Vikalpa may come. Otherwise, why Narada asked, I have done everything else, I am so peaceless, what shall I do? These are all stories, Puranic stories. Because no matter how much of power you attain, until you get some prajna samadhi, until you accept the moksha, until you are one with this God, there always disturbance will be there. The vikalpam is one disturbance which will create within yourself a doubt about what you're doing. That vikalpam may pull you down. But that vikalpam also goes away by being there in this absolute oneness delusion for it. So this is what I wanted to complete. So what we have learned so far in the chapter 2 is the two important things. Kriya Yoga, by which we do the klesha nivritti. It brings behavior changes, which we can measure by how people approach us and how we approach people. Because Maitri, Karuna, all this character forming qualities we imbibe. Then dhyana. And then for dhyana, he started talking about the mind to be controlled, ehagram. And to do that, you must have these 4 factors. What should be removed? What is the cause of it? What is to be attained? And what is the upayam for it? And all this comes down to one thing, that your chitta shuddhi, the dhrida buddhi, are the goals for it. Whether you get kaivalyam or you get moksham or liberation, doesn't matter for us. Because once you attain that, you attain the supreme intellect that you need. Now, from the next class, we start the next part, where he actually do a very thin line, and he's going to talk about Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga means 8 steps of sadhanas, by doing which we can aim to go towards this 7 pranta bhumi. So I think we'll stop it there. Om Asudoma Sadgamaya
Om Asatoma
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya
Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya.
Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om Tassat.